Rome is a city of many traditions and superstitions. In fact, when you come to Rome, there are certain things that you must do and others you must not. Never talk about your football team. Definitely don't talk about politics. And above all, whatever you do, never ever pour someone's drink from the outside of your hand. I first visited Rome many years ago with my then fiancé, now husband, who actually had grown up in the center of Rome. I was as in awe then as I am still with the beauty and deep sense of history that surrounds you in this magnificent city. Having grown up in Canada, experiencing a new culture with all its customs and habits and traditions was really fascinating. One of my favorites has always been about the way you pour a drink. Everyone knows about the tradition in Rome that when you say cheers, you need to look directly into each other's eyes, or that's 7 years of bad luck. But lesser known, perhaps more important, is how you pour the drinks. Normally, you pour this way, from the inside of your hand. But you should never ever pour this way, from the outside of your hand and your wrist facing up. It's considered bad luck and insulting to pour this way. Many Romans see it as a cultural tradition without knowing its origins. It's a quirk that adds color to their city's rich history. Others dismiss it as a fanciful tale, and well, some embrace it as just one of those long-standing customs. But what is the origin? It's always intrigued me since the night, again many years ago, when I was on a romantic date in Rome with my future husband, and I began to fill his glass. Because my other hand was occupied, I started to pour like this. Well, he immediately threw me a strange look, laughed, and said, "Now, what did you do wrong?" Well, I was confused and had no idea, and he told me that in Rome, you must never pour in that way. Curious, I searched for the reason, and to my surprise found that its origins had to do with one of the most infamous families in papal history, the Borgias. A 15th century family from Spain who occupied the papacy for 8 years and almost completely destroyed it. According to legend, Lucrezia Borgia, only daughter of Pope Alexander VII, was known for her beauty, but she was also notorious for her cruel ways. She was a woman of contradictions, charming and gracious in public, but with a dark side that few dared to speak of. Not surprising, really, considering her father married her off 3 times to gain wealth, favor, and above all, power. One day, at a lavish dinner party in their palace, she noticed a servant pouring wine for guests with his wrist turned upwards, a gesture she discreetly wanted to discourage. She decided to make an example of the servant, calling him to her and berating him for his lack of sophistication and refinement. But Lucrezia had another, more sinister reason for disliking the act of pouring in this manner, something that was one of her many secrets and perhaps the biggest. The Borgias owned special rings, with poison concealed inside a secret compartment. The ring was said to be so cunningly designed that it would release its poison, called Campanella, into the wine when someone poured with their palm facing up. Lucrezia would casually tilt her hand while passing over goblets, allowing the powder to fall unnoticed into the drink. Campanella, which was more than likely arsenic, was a white powder with a sweet taste that couldn't be detected when mixed with food or wine. It was a covert way for the Borgias to quickly and discreetly eliminate their political rivals while maintaining the appearance of innocence. So the normal way of pouring with the inside of the hand became a way to avoid suspicion, to show respect for the city's traditions, and to keep the Borgias' secrets buried. Pouring with the palm facing up, known as the versare alla traditora, or traitor's way of pouring, is still considered offensive, or even a portent of bad luck. The legend, like many others in Rome's rich history, has been passed down for generations. While most Romans know it's just a myth, the reluctance to pour in this ill-mannered and inelegant fashion still exists. And it doesn't matter if it's a real story or a myth. No one wants to risk bad luck or being called a traitor. That's how fairy tales and legends stay alive within us. While education and critical thinking can help dispel unfounded beliefs, cultural myths often serve purposes beyond mere historical accuracy. They provide a sense of connection to the past, add intrigue to local customs, and can serve as cautionary tales. Perhaps the question isn't about dismissing old beliefs entirely, but about understanding their origins, appreciating their cultural significance, and viewing them through an opaque lens of critical thinking. And above all, when in Rome, do as the Romans do.